Last episode, I was talking about how to get into the beta, and this episode, I will be starting out on a new save and going through getting to wave 100. So on the opening, you just have a quick little message tutorial from Dr. Cubicle, but we don't need him. I'm here to explain. So you can start off. So whenever you kill an enemy, you get 1 XP, and you can spend your XP upgrading different modules. Start with 4 at the beginning, but later on you'll be getting more. So first you can upgrade basic attack, which goes from 2 damage to 4 damage. It's quite recommended. Then attack speed, I wouldn't really recommend upgrading. It's 1.538 attacks per second up to 1.544. We don't really care about 0.06 attacks per second. It's not really worth it. But Stone Foundation and Basic Regen are what I also recommend upgrading, because that way you don't die. Alright. I'm just going to try to balance out my damage, making sure that it exceeds the HP count for the enemies of the current wave, and then you have the actual damage count of the enemies, and then here's just the amount of enemies that there are. So, as long as your damage is higher than the enemy's HP, you have no problem. And beyond there, you just need to focus on making sure you have enough HP to regen, and enough HP that you actually don't die. I'm just going to be balancing out upgrades between the foundation and basic regen. Make sure you keep your attack above the enemy's HP. Oh, made it to wave 9. Be easy. If you make it to wave 10, then you're amazing. Don't really care about backstory. So, for here, if you actually right click, you can open up quick convert different percentages of your resources. I only care about one resource for now, so select the construction firm. So you have the construction firm, you have 3 different buildings that you can build right now, or you can upgrade the construction firm again to unlock a couple more buildings. For the very start, I'd recommend only really upgrading and building the workshop. That's what's actually going to help you progress. The mine is pretty useless, same with factory, when you are just starting out. Get the workshop started, and I'm going to go back into a new round while it's building. I'm going to do the same thing as last time, just get a bit of basic attack, make sure my attack damage exceeds the enemy's HP, and then just balance out between Stone Foundation and Regen. Alright, another run done, and the workshop should be done. Also, I leveled up on the main town area, and I got a skill point, which means I can unlock some skills. I only have 2 buildings right now that I can go through. 4 skills to first get. This is one of the good ones, except it's not really that. It's pretty useless if you aren't building anything this early on. I'd recommend getting the double chance of getting a new module, because compared to these other ones, it's 1 less conversion rate, pretty useless. Larger blueprint size is unnecessary for this time. So I'm gonna grab this. That's actually very useful for module farming. I'm just going to turn 100% of my resources into blue resources. Now, for upgrades inside the workshop, they work very similarly to upgrades inside the actual main game. Each level does the same thing as paying 1 XP in-game, except all it does is just makes it so it starts off at a higher level. This makes it so that it costs less XP to get it to where you previously were upgrading. So as you could upgrade attack speed and get 1 less upgrade, they don't have to upgrade with XP in-game. It's pretty useless overall, because what you really want to do is optimize the amount of XP. So wherever you're putting the most XP in at the end of the game is what you're going to want to upgrade. I'm just going to balance out my upgrades between these, and then just get a bit more basic attack, because that's going to be necessary for beating wave 10, because there's bosses every 10 waves. Back into another run. Make sure you turn on 2 times speed. I forgot to say at the beginning of last run. And 2 new modules unlocked. I didn't get killed the wave 10 boss, but got the 2 modules because I passed the wave 10 increment. And the 2 modules you unlock at wave 10 are Multishot and Elemental Resistance. This is pretty useless. It's 3% less damage you take from elemental enemies, but there's no reason to not put it on right now. I just don't really worry. I wouldn't recommend upgrading it, since in Forest, most of the enemies are white, and neutral enemies aren't elemental, so they don't get reduced damage. But Multishot, on the other hand, is very nice. 10% chance to add 2 more targets, and each level adds a 0.4 more chance, which is quite nice. I'm gonna actually dump all my resources into basic attack and Multishot. Now you may notice with Multishot that clearing out these enemy waves is a lot easier. I don't just have I can actually kill them faster than they spawn, which is very nice. That's mainly what you want to worry about when you get Multishot, is as long as you're killing them faster than you're spawning, then you don't just have them slowly building up over waves, just killing you faster and faster. So we don't need to focus as much on regen and HP anymore. The next goal for wave to get to after wave 10 is wave 20, but after that is wave 40. At wave 20 you get basic bouncing, which is a very useful module. Pairs very well with Multishot. If you notice, after a wave of enemies gets to me, I usually heal up to max HP. I didn't do it this time. I died on 19. Well, that's disappointing. But if you look, my 3 modules that cost the most XP to upgrade are Stone Foundation, Basic Regen, and Basic Attack. So, if I were to upgrade one of them in the workshop, it will get to the same point that I have it. It would be less XP because it would cost 11 less XP. So I'd have 11 more XP I could spend on other things like attack speed, or something else that's actually useful. And just like that, past wave 20. Also, I forgot to mention that you can see how long you've currently spent in a run down here. I should be able to get a bit past 20. Oh, 22. Got a new module. I go to town, basic bouncing. You unlock it whenever you get to wave 20 for the first time. You don't have to beat wave 20, you just have to have the wave counter take over. And it's a lower chance than Multishot to get bonus attacks, so that means upgrade it. And I don't have any more things we can upgrade. At this point, upgrading your basic Stone Foundation and Regen is pretty much so useless because you barely get attacked by the enemies at the end of each wave, as long as they don't get unlucky like that wave. This one only got hit once. Don't really need these. You're still going to want to upgrade them a bit, so you don't just get one shot. But now you can mainly focus on damage and upgrading your Multishot and basic bouncing. Just know if at the end of the wave you aren't fully regened up, you're going to want to upgrade regen more. That at wave 30 because I didn't have enough damage to one-shot the enemies. Something you're going to want to look out for. Since last time I was lacking on attack damage, I'm going to dump most of my resources into that. I'm going to try to get... I didn't quite get those up. I guess I'll just get a touch more attack speed. All I can afford. And back into another run. This is what you're going to be doing for most of the beginning. Just doing a run, collecting resources. Then you take all those resources and upgrade your modules. And just repeat that over and over again until you get to wave 100. And there we go, wave 40. And now I die. But I got one new module. And it's Nature's Touch, the most overpowered module in the game. It's not even a joke. So Nature's Touch, what makes it so overpowered is that even at level 1, it does 1 damage, but no one cares about that. What we actually care about is the 3% damage healed. So for 3% of all the damage I deal, it's turned into HP for my tower. Which means, if I just deal a lot of damage, I don't need to worry about basic regen anymore. So I'm just gonna take that off, throw on Nature's Touch. Actually, I'm gonna keep basic regen on because I'm probably gonna still need it. Don't really need elemental resistance, wasn't using that. But now, Nature's Touch. This damage, the damage heal applies to all damage you deal and not just the damage of this module. So, you can, at this point, I'm just gonna upgrade just dump all my resources to basic attack for more healing. Now that in game now we only need upgrade basic attack and Stone Foundation to survive. So your XP, it just allows you to put more XP towards either one of them, opposed to splitting it 3 ways. Now that we have Nature's Touch, in order to beat wave 100, I've calculated that you only need about 2,000 to 3,000 damage and about the same amount of HP. For Multishot basic bouncing, you're going to want to have the roughly equivalent of level 20 to 25. At that point, you're one-shotting every enemy on every wave, and usually killing the waves before they touch you. If you get unlucky, then they can hurt you, and that's why you have Nature's Touch. Just heals you up. Quite nice. And I got unlucky. And again, he bounces or multi-shots that wave. There's also a boss, so the boss just ate up all my HP, all my damage. And there we go. We have 100 completed. 48,000 resources, 8 minutes 23 seconds. How long it takes to get to wave 100 if you're curious. Now we have Endless Easy, Challenge Easy, Idle Easy, Desert Region unlocked. It doesn't say unlocked medium difficulty. I have to go report that as a bug. Now, a common thing that people mess up is when you're going to a new region, there's an arrow here, or you can just click on this to pull up the region selector. Medium is not region 2. Misconception. Now we have a couple different game modes. In Endless, it's just like previous, except there's no max wave, so it makes for easy resources if you go really far. Challenge, this is the only challenge in the game. I'm going to talk about that in a later video. Idle mode is where I'll talk about that more in a later video. And 999 resources, that's a nice ending point. Alright, that's it for this video. Next video I'm going to be talking about hopefully everything up to getting into your first military tiering up. I don't know what that thing's called.